It was a normal Tuesday in the small town of Greenville. The sun was shining, and birds were singing. Kids laughed and played in the park near the center of town. No one knew that this day would change everything. Little Timmy, a boy with messy brown hair and bright blue eyes, was playing on the swings. He was only 5 years old and loved the feeling of flying through the air. His mom, Sarah, sat on a nearby bench, watching him with a smile. Everything seemed perfect. Suddenly, a strange sound filled the air. It was like nothing anyone had ever heard before. It was a low hum that got louder and louder. People in the park stopped what they were doing and looked up at the sky. That's when they saw it. A huge dark shape was blocking out the sun. It wasn't a cloud. It was something else, something alien. As people watched in shock, more shapes appeared. They were spaceships, bigger than anything humans had ever built. They were dark gray and shaped like giant triangles. They moved slowly across the sky, casting huge shadows over the town. Panic spread quickly. Parents grabbed their children. People started running, not sure where to go but knowing they had to get away. Cars honked as drivers tried to leave town. It was chaos. Sarah jumped up from the bench. "Timmy," she yelled. "Come here now." But Timmy was frozen on the swing, his eyes wide as he looked up at the sky. Before Sarah could reach him, a bright light shot down from one of the ships. It was like a spotlight, but much brighter. The beam of light hit Timmy, surrounding him completely. Sarah screamed and ran faster, but it was too late. As she watched in horror, Timmy started to float up into the air. He didn't make a sound. He just kept rising, up and up, towards the alien ship. "No," Sarah cried, reaching out as if she could grab him. But Timmy was too high. In seconds, he disappeared into the ship. As quickly as they had appeared, the alien ship started to move away. They didn't take anyone else. They didn't attack. They just left, taking Timmy with them. The whole thing had lasted less than 5 minutes, but in that short time, the world had changed forever. News of the alien abduction spread fast. Within hours, every TV channel was talking about it. People shared videos they had taken on their phones. The grainy images of Timmy floating up into the ship were played over and over. Sarah was taken to the hospital. She was in shock, unable to speak. Timmy's dad, Mike, rushed to be with her. He had been at work when it happened. Now he sat by Sarah's bed, holding her hand and crying quietly. The President of the United States went on TV that night. She looked worried as she spoke to the nation. "My fellow Americans," she said, "today we have confirmation that we are not alone in the universe. But this first contact has come at a terrible price. A child has been taken from us. I promise you, we will do everything in our power to bring him home." But what could they do? Earth had no spaceships that could chase the aliens, no weapons that could fight them. For the first time, humans realized how small and helpless they were in the big universe. Scientists tried to figure out where the aliens had come from. They looked at the videos and pictures people had taken. They used big telescopes to search the sky, but they found nothing. The aliens had vanished without a trace. Some people thought the government should have done more to protect them. Others said no one could have seen this coming. Everyone was scared. What if the aliens came back? What if they took more people next time? In Greenville, life changed completely. The park where Timmy was taken was now empty. No one wanted to play there anymore. Sarah and Mike's house was surrounded by news vans and curious people. Police had to guard the street to give them some peace. Timmy's photo was everywhere. On TV, in newspapers, on posters in shop windows. His blue eyes and messy hair became a symbol of Earth's loss of innocence. People all over the world prayed for him, hoping somehow he would come back. A week after the abduction, something strange happened. All over the world, at exactly the same time, every TV, radio, and phone started broadcasting the same message. It was in a language no one had ever heard before. It took the best scientists and computers on Earth 3 days to translate the message. When they did, it was short and scary. The child is ours now. He belongs to the Galactic Empire. Do not try to get him back. You have been warned." The message made people even more afraid, but it also made them angry. How dare these aliens just take a child and think they could get away with it? Humans might not have spaceships or super weapons, but they had something just as powerful: determination. All over the world, governments started working together like never before. They shared secret technologies. They poured money into space research. Scientists worked day and night to invent new things that might help fight the aliens. Regular people helped too. Millions of people volunteered to join a new global space force. Others donated money to help build new machines and rockets. Everyone wanted to do something to help get Timmy back and protect Earth from future attacks. Sarah and Mike became symbols of Earth's fight. They went on TV to talk about Timmy and to ask the world not to give up hope. "We will find him," Sarah said, her voice strong even though her eyes were sad. "And when we do, the aliens will learn that you don't mess with Earth's children." As the first month since Timmy's abduction ended, Earth was a planet transformed. No longer just a blue marble floating in space, it was now a world united with a single goal: to reach the stars, find Timmy, and show the Galactic Empire that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The story of the stolen child was just beginning, and humanity's greatest adventure was about to unfold. Earth's fury awakens. 1 month after Timmy's abduction, the world was a different place. The shock had turned to anger, and that anger was pushing humanity to do amazing things. In a secret underground lab in Switzerland, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked day and night. She was a brilliant scientist who had been studying alien technology for years. Most people thought she was crazy before. Now, everyone wanted to know what she had learned. Dr. Rodriguez stood in front of a group of world leaders. Her wild hair and tired eyes showed how hard she had been working. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "I believe I found something that can help us fight back." She pulled a cloth off a table, revealing a strange-looking device. It was about the size of a baseball and glowed with a soft blue light. "This," she said, "is what I call the gravity disruptor. It can create a field that changes how gravity works in a small area." The room was silent for a moment. Then one of the leaders spoke up. "How does this help us fight aliens, Dr. Rodriguez?" Elena smiled. "Imagine if we could make their ships so heavy they can't fly, or so light that they float away into space. This device can do that." Excited whispers filled the room. For the first time since the abduction, there was hope. Meanwhile, in a TV studio in New York, Sarah and Mike sat holding hands. They were about to go live to the whole world. They looked tired but determined. The red light on the camera turned on, and the host began. "We're here with Sarah and Mike Thompson, the parents of Timmy, the child taken by aliens 1 month ago. Sarah, Mike, how are you holding up?" Sarah took a deep breath. "It's been the hardest month of our lives," she said, "but we're not giving up. We know Timmy is out there, and we know we'll see him again." Mike nodded. "We want to thank everyone around the world for their support, and we have a message for those aliens who took our son." He looked straight into the camera, his eyes fierce. "We're coming for him. You think you can just take our children? You have no idea what you've started. Earth isn't weak. We're strong, and we're angry. Watch out." The host looked shocked at Mike's strong words, but millions watching at home cheered. Sarah and Mike had said what everyone was thinking. As the interview ended, the TV cut to breaking news. The president was about to make an important announcement. The president stood at her podium, looking serious. "My fellow citizens of Earth," she began, "today marks 1 month since the alien abduction that shook our world. I'm here to tell you that we have not been idle." She paused, looking straight at the camera. "Today, I'm announcing the formation of the Earth Defense Force. This will be a global military and scientific organization dedicated to protecting our planet and bringing Timmy Thompson home." The president continued, explaining how countries around the world were sharing their best technology and brightest minds. "We are no longer divided by borders or old rivalries," she said. "We are united as Earthlings, with a common goal and a common enemy." As the president spoke, in a hidden base deep in the mountains, the Earth Defense Force was already hard at work. Soldiers from every nation trained together, learning to use new weapons based on Dr. Rodriguez's discoveries. Engineers worked on building Earth's first real spaceship, designed for battle. They called it the Avenger. It wasn't big, but it was fast and armed with gravity disruptors. But the aliens weren't going to wait for Earth to catch up. 2 months after Timmy's abduction, they returned. This time, it wasn't just one town. Alien ships appeared over major cities all around the world. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing, all saw the huge triangle ships in their skies. People panicked, remembering what happened to Timmy. But this time, Earth was more prepared. As the alien ships descended, they were met with a surprise. Gravity disruptors, hastily built and installed on buildings and vehicles, were turned on. Suddenly, the alien ships started to wobble in the air. Some crashed into each other, unable to control their movements. In New York, one ship came down right in Central Park. As it hit the ground, the Earth Defense Force was ready. Soldiers in new, high-tech armor surrounded the ship. For a tense minute, nothing happened. Then, a door on the ship opened. Out came an alien. It was nothing like what people expected. The alien was small, about the size of a child. It had gray skin and huge, black eyes. It looked almost fragile. The alien held up its hands, showing it was unarmed. Then, to everyone's shock, it spoke in perfect English. "We come in peace," it said. The soldiers didn't lower their weapons. "You took a child from us," one shouted. "That's not peaceful." The alien looked confused. "Took a child? We have done no such thing. We are the Galactic diplomats, here to welcome Earth to the greater galactic community." Now it was the humans' turn to be confused. If these aliens didn't take Timmy, who did? As this scene played out in New York, similar things were happening around the world. The aliens, calling themselves the Galactic diplomats, were just as surprised by the hostile reception as humans were by their peaceful intentions. In the hidden base, Dr. Rodriguez watched the news with growing excitement and worry. "Don't you see?" she said to the leaders around her. "These aliens didn't take Timmy, but they might be able to help us find who did." The president quickly called a global conference. Leaders from every nation met with the Galactic diplomats. The aliens were horrified to learn about Timmy's abduction. "There is a group," the lead alien explained, "that we call the Harvesters. They take beings from young civilizations, usually for study. But taking a child, that is forbidden. We will help you find them." As the day ended, Earth found itself in a strange new position. The threat they had been preparing to fight didn't exist. Instead, they had new allies in a much bigger galaxy than they had imagined. But Timmy was still missing. And somewhere out there, the real kidnappers were waiting. Earth's fury had awakened. And now, with new friends and new technology, the real mission was about to begin. The search for Timmy would take humanity to the stars, ready or not. The daring rescue plan. 6 months had passed since Timmy's abduction. Earth had changed a lot. With help from the Galactic diplomats, humans were learning about space faster than ever before. In a large room at the Earth Defense Force headquarters, a special team was meeting. There was Sarah and Mike, Timmy's parents, Dr. Rodriguez, the scientist, Captain Lee, a tough soldier, and Zix, a friendly alien from the Galactic diplomats. "We've found them," Zix said, pointing to a hologram of a star system. "The Harvesters have a secret base here, on the third moon of this gas giant." Everyone leaned in, looking at the glowing blue image. It showed a huge planet with rings, like Saturn, and several moons around it. "How sure are we that Timmy is there?" Sarah asked, her voice hopeful but scared. Zix's big eyes blinked. "Our spies confirmed it. They're holding several young beings from different species there. Your son is among them." Mike slammed his fist on the table. "Then what are we waiting for? Let's go get him." Captain Lee held up a hand. "It's not that simple. The harvesters have powerful defenses. We can't just fly in guns blazing." Dr. Rodriguez nodded. "That's right. We need a plan. A smart one." For the next few hours, they talked about different ideas. Some were too dangerous. Others wouldn't work. Finally, Dr. Rodriguez stood up with a gleam in her eye. "I think I've got it," she said. "We use the gravity disruptor technology, but in a new way. We'll build a small ship, one that can change its own gravity." She explained her idea. The ship would be able to make itself super light, allowing it to move incredibly fast. It could also make itself so heavy that no tractor beam could move it. "We send in a small team," she continued. "They slip past the harvesters' defenses, find Timmy and the other kids, and get out before anyone knows what happened." Everyone looked excited, but Captain Lee frowned. "It's risky. We'd be sending people deeper into space than any human has ever gone. Who would we even send?" Sarah stood up. "I'll go," she said firmly. "He's my son. I have to be there." Mike nodded. "Me too. We're in this together." Captain Lee sighed. "With all due respect, you're not trained for this kind of mission." "Then train us," Mike said. "We've got the most reason to make this work. We won't fail." After some argument, everyone agreed. Sarah and Mike would go, along with Captain Lee and 2 of his best soldiers. Zix would go too, to help communicate with any aliens they met. For the next month, the team trained hard. Sarah and Mike learned to fight, to use spacesuits, and to fly the new ship. It was tough, but thinking of Timmy kept them going. Dr. Rodriguez worked day and night on the ship. She called it the Whisper because it was designed to slip in and out without being noticed. It was small, just big enough for the team and a few rescued kids. Finally, the day came. The team stood in front of the Whisper, ready to leave. A crowd had gathered to see them off. The president stepped forward. "You carry the hopes of not just Earth, but of families across the galaxy whose children have been taken. Good luck, and Godspeed." With a last look at Earth, the team entered the Whisper. Captain Lee sat in the pilot's seat, with Sarah next to him as co-pilot. They had practiced this 100 times, but now it was real. The Whisper lifted off smoothly. As it rose into the sky, Dr. Rodriguez activated the gravity disruptor. Suddenly, the ship shot forward faster than anything on Earth had ever moved. The team was pushed back in their seats. Stars streaked by the windows. In what seemed like no time at all, they were approaching the gas giant where Timmy was held. "Activating stealth mode," Captain Lee said. He pressed a button, and the ship seemed to shimmer and disappear. They flew past the huge planet, its rings glittering in the light of a distant sun. As they got closer to the third moon, they saw it wasn't like Earth's moon. It was covered in metal structures. This was the Harvester's base. "We're picking up a lot of signals," one of the soldiers said. "Ships coming and going. How are we going to find Timmy in all this?" Zix moved to a computer. "I can scan for human life signs. It's not exact, but it should narrow it down." For tense minutes, they circled the moon. Suddenly, Zix's computer beeped. "There, in that building, I'm detecting a human child, and several other young life forms." Captain Lee guided the Whisper to a landing spot near the building. As they touched down, he turned to the team. "Remember the plan. Get in, get the kids, get out. Try not to be seen, but if you are, don't hesitate to use force. These harvesters are breaking galactic law." They put on their spacesuits and checked their weapons. Sarah looked at Mike. "Ready?" she asked. He nodded. "Let's go get our boy." They stepped out onto the surface of the alien moon. The ground was hard and metallic. Strange buildings rose around them, with odd shapes and glowing lights. Moving quickly but carefully, they made their way to the building Zix had identified. At the entrance, one of the soldiers used a device to bypass the lock. The door slid open, revealing a long hallway. Strange symbols covered the walls. The air felt thick and humid inside. "This way," Zix whispered, looking at a small scanner. "The life signs are coming from below." They found a lift and went down. When the doors opened again, they saw rows of glass containers. Each one held a small alien creature. "Oh my God," Sarah gasped. "They're all children." They moved down the row, looking in each container. Suddenly, Mike stopped. "Sarah," he called out. "I found him." There in one of the containers was Timmy. He looked peaceful, as if he was sleeping. Strange wires were connected to his head. As Sarah and Mike worked to open the container, Captain Lee and the others started freeing the other children. Alarms began to sound. "We've been detected," Zix said. "We need to hurry." Sarah lifted Timmy into her arms. He was bigger than she remembered. "It's okay, baby," she whispered. "We're taking you home." The teen ran back to the lift, carrying as many of the alien children as they could. They could hear sounds of pursuit behind them. As they burst out of the building, they saw harvester ships approaching. "Run," Captain Lee shouted. They sprinted for the Whisper, alien weapons fire exploding around them. They dove into the ship, the door closing behind them. Captain Lee jumped into the pilot's seat. "Hold on," he yelled, activating the gravity disruptor. The Whisper shot into the sky, dodging harvester ships. Within seconds, they were in open space, streaking away faster than their pursuers could follow. Sarah held Timmy close, tears in her eyes. Mike put his arms around them both. Their boy was safe. They were going home. But as Earth celebrated the return of Timmy and the rescue of the other children, new questions arose. What would the harvesters do now? And how would this change Earth's place in the galaxy? The adventure, it seemed, was far from over. Battle among the stars. The Whisper raced through space, carrying Timmy and the rescued alien children. But their troubles were far from over. Behind them, angry harvester ships gave chase. "They're gaining on us," shouted Mike, watching the screens. Captain Lee gritted his teeth. "Hold on, everyone. This might get rough." He pushed the gravity disruptor to its limits. The ship lurched forward, stars blurring outside the windows. But the harvesters were fast too. Suddenly, alarms blared. "We've got company ahead," one of the soldiers yelled. Through the front window, they saw a massive harvester ship appear. It was huge, shaped like a giant metal octopus. Long arms reached out, trying to grab the Whisper. "We're trapped," Sarah cried, holding Timmy close. Just as things looked hopeless, space lit up around them. Laser beams shot past the Whisper, hitting the big harvester ship. A voice crackled over the radio. "This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Whisper, get behind us. We'll cover you." Everyone cheered as they saw a fleet of Earth ships appear. There were dozens of them, all shapes and sizes. Leading them was a huge ship that looked like a sword cutting through space. "That's the Avenger," Captain Lee said with pride. "Earth's first real battleship." The Whisper ducked behind the Earth fleet. Now the real battle began. Harvester ships swarmed around the Earth vessels. They fired strange weapons that bent space itself. But the Earth ships had a few tricks too. Dr. Rodriguez's voice came over the radio. "All ships, activate your gravity disruptors." The Earth fleet shimmered. Harvester weapons passed right through them, missing completely. Then the Earth ships fired back. Beams of energy and strange missiles flew everywhere. Some harvester ships exploded in bright flashes. Others spun out of control, their gravity all messed up. But the harvesters were tough. Their big ship shot out metal tentacles, grabbing Earth vessels and crushing them. "We need to take out that big one," Admiral Chen ordered. The Avenger moved forward, firing all its weapons. The giant harvester ship shuddered, but kept fighting. Inside the Whisper, Zix looked worried. Their main ship is too strong. Your weapons can't break its shields. Sarah looked at the alien children they had rescued. An idea struck her. Wait, can you talk to these kids? Maybe they know something that can help. Zix nodded and spoke to the alien children in a strange language. They chirped and whistled back. They say the big ship has a weak spot, Zix reported. There's a special engine at the back. If we hit it just right, the whole ship will shut down. Captain Lee grabbed the controls. Then that's where we're going. Hold on tight. The Whisper zoomed out from behind the Earth fleet. It darted between bigger ships, dodging weapons fire. What are they doing? Admiral Chen demanded. Trust them, Dr. Rodriguez said. They know what they're doing. The Whisper reached the back of the giant harvester ship. They could see the engine Zix mentioned. It glowed with a strange purple light. We've only got one shot, Captain Lee said. Fire everything we've got. The Whisper's weapons opened up. Beams of energy struck the purple engine. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the engine flickered. The purple glow faded. Suddenly, all the lights on the giant harvester ship went out. They did it. Someone shouted over the radio. Without their leader, the other harvester ships got confused. Some tried to run away. Others kept fighting, but they weren't organized anymore. The Earth fleet pressed their advantage. Ship after ship, they took down the harvesters. It wasn't easy, and Earth lost ships too. But slowly, surely, they were winning. As the battle raged, Sarah noticed something strange. Timmy, still asleep, started to move. His eyes fluttered open. Mike, she called. He's waking up. Timmy looked around, confused. Mom, Dad, where am I? Tears filled Sarah's eyes. You're safe, honey. We came to get you. We're going home. Timmy hugged his parents tight. Then he saw the battle outside the window. His eyes went wide. Whoa, are those spaceships? Mike laughed. Yeah, buddy. A lot's happened while you were gone. Outside, the last harvester ships were either destroyed or running away. A cheer went up across the Earth fleet. They had won. Admiral Chen's voice boomed over the radio. All ships, form up. Let's go home. As they turned back towards Earth, Zix looked thoughtful. You know, he said, the Galactic diplomats won't be happy about this battle. They don't like violence. Captain Lee snorted. Well, they should have stopped the harvesters themselves then. We did what we had to do. Sarah nodded. That's right. And now everyone knows. You don't mess with Earth's children. The fleet started its journey home. It would take a while, but no one minded. They had Timmy and the other kids. They had won a great victory. Earth had proved itself among the stars. As they flew, Timmy asked question after question. About space, about the aliens, about everything he'd missed. Sarah and Mike answered as best they could, happy just to hear his voice again. The other alien children watched Earth's family reunion with interest. Zix promised they'd help find these kids' families too. Looking out the window at the Earth fleet, Mike smiled. You know, he said, I think this is just the beginning. Earth's not going to sit quietly in the galaxy anymore. Sarah squeezed his hand. As long as we're together, we can handle whatever comes next. Timmy grinned. Can I be a space captain when I grow up? Everyone laughed. After all they'd been through, anything seemed possible now. Earth had faced its first real test among the stars, and it had passed. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as one planet, united and strong. The stars outside seemed to twinkle a little brighter as the fleet flew home, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of a new era for humanity. A new era for Earth. The Earth fleet's return was met with cheers and celebrations all around the world. As the ships entered Earth's atmosphere, millions of people looked up at the sky, waving flags and shouting with joy. The Whisper, carrying Timmy and his family, was the first to land. It touched down in a special area in New York Central Park. A huge crowd had gathered to welcome them home. As the ship's door opened, Sarah and Mike stepped out, with Timmy between them. The crowd went wild. Cameras flashed, and reporters shouted questions, but the family only had eyes for each other. The president stepped forward to greet them. "Welcome home," she said, shaking their hands. "You've made Earth proud." Timmy looked around in awe. "Wow," he said. "Did all these people come to see us?" Mike ruffled his son's hair. "They came to see you, champ. You're a hero." Over the next few days, more ships landed, bringing home Earth's brave soldiers and the rescued alien children. Scientists and doctors checked everyone to make sure they were healthy after their space adventure. Timmy and his parents told their story on TV. People all over the world watched as Timmy described his time with the harvesters. "It was scary," he said, "but I knew my mom and dad would come for me." Sarah wiped away a tear. "We never gave up hope," she said. "And now, thanks to the brave men and women of the Earth Defense Force, we're all home safe." But not everyone was happy about Earth's victory. A week after the battle, the Galactic diplomats called a meeting. They weren't pleased that Earth had fought the harvesters. In a big room at the United Nations, alien diplomats from all over the galaxy gathered. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange, it was hard to believe they were real. The head of the Galactic diplomats, a tall blue alien named Exor, spoke first. "Earth's actions were reckless," he said. "You could have started a galactic war." The president stood up to defend Earth. "We did what we had to do," she said firmly. "The harvesters took our children. We asked for help, and no one did anything. So we helped ourselves." There were murmurs among the aliens. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked angry. Glor shook his head. But the violence. Surely there was another way. That's when Zix stepped forward. With respect, he said, "I was there. I saw everything. Earth tried to be peaceful. They only fought when they had no choice." A small green alien spoke up. "Is it true that Earth rescued children from other worlds too? Not just their own?" "Yes," said Zix. "They saved many young ones from many different species." This caused a stir. Many of the aliens started talking excitedly among themselves. Thor looked thoughtful. Perhaps we judged too quickly. Earth has shown great courage and great heart." The president smiled. "We're new to this galactic community," she said. "We have a lot to learn, but we also have a lot to offer. We want to be friends, to trade, to explore. But we will always defend our people and help others in need. That's who we are." There was a moment of silence. Then, slowly, the aliens started to clap. It grew louder and louder until the whole room was cheering. Zor raised his hands for quiet. "Very well," he said. "Earth has earned its place among the stars. Welcome to the galactic community." The meeting ended with handshakes and tentacle shakes all around. Earth had not just won a battle. It had won respect. Over the next few months, things on Earth changed fast. Alien technology helped solve many problems. Clean energy from space meant no more pollution. New medicines cured diseases that once seemed hopeless. People from Earth started to travel to other planets. Some went as tourists, eager to see new worlds. Others went to work or study, learning from alien scientists and teachers. Aliens came to Earth too. Soon, it wasn't strange to see a green-skinned person shopping at the grocery store, or a floating blob watching a baseball game. Timmy became a celebrity. He and the other kids who had been rescued started a group called Star Kids. They traveled around, talking to people about their experiences and the importance of being kind to all beings, no matter where they came from. One day, about a year after the battle, Timmy and his parents visited the New Earth Space Academy. It was a school to train the next generation of space explorers. As they walked through the halls, Timmy's eyes were wide with wonder. He saw simulators where students practiced flying spaceships. There were classes on alien languages and cultures. In one room, A teacher who looked like a giant caterpillar was showing students how to use a teleporter. "This is so cool," Timmy said. "Can I go here when I'm older?" Sarah laughed. "If that's what you want, sweetie, you can be anything you want to be." They reached a big window that looked out into space. Earth's first space station floated nearby. Ships of all shapes and sizes flew back and forth. Mike put his arm around Sarah. "You know," he said, "when I was a kid, I always dreamed about this. Aliens, spaceships, exploring the galaxy. I never thought it would really happen." Sarah nodded. "It's amazing how much has changed. And it all started because we wouldn't give up on our son." Timmy pressed his face against the window, looking at the stars. "Do you think there are other kids out there?" he asked. "Kids who need help, like I did?" His parents shared a proud look. "Probably," Mike said, "and thanks to brave people like you, Earth will be there to help them." As they stood there, looking out at the vastness of space, they felt a sense of excitement and hope. The galaxy was huge, full of wonders and dangers. But Earth was ready to explore, to learn, to make new friends, and to stand up for what was right. It truly was a new era for Earth, an era of adventure, discovery, and unity. And it all began with a parent's love, a child's courage, and humanity's determination to reach for the stars. Timmy smiled, thinking of all the adventures to come. "I can't wait to see what happens next," he said. His parents couldn't agree more. Whatever the future held, they would face it together, as a family, as Earth, and as part of a grand galactic community.